SaltBurn is another one of those psychopath or mystery type of movies that have been taking over of late. A film covered head to toe with additional meaning, from the fact that the movie has references to Evelyn Waugh's book Brideshead Revisited and Shakespeare A Long Summer Night Dream, where we have four lovers: Felix, Venelia, Farleigh, and Elsbeth. With an aspect ratio of 4:3, you'd think it would make it look old. No. It's supposed to connect you more with the character of Oliver and make you feel like you are one with him. So a quick rundown. Our main character is Oliver Quick. Boy, is he one hell of a character. From the first 9 minutes alone, we get to see that he is smarter than everyone else and is battling his inner self, mostly with that insane intro. I have to say the cinematography in this film deserves an Oscar. The use of colors and lighting means so much. For example, the moment with Oliver and Venelia hooking up outside. It's dark and the lighting comes in from one side to highlight one side of Venelia and make Oliver look dark and menacing, all with a vampire vibe. He's gaining more confidence and power by the day, and that's what it shows with the use of colors. Also, the scene where Felix's body is rolled out and the curtains are closed. The color shifts to red. Red is an international sign for danger. It is a clear indicator that the killer, or the danger, was still in the room. Something else you notice is how his changes in actions are reflected by his clothing. The first time we see him is in a suit, and being menacing is showing that he won. The time we see him in school first, he dresses in an old school formal manner. When he gets closer to Felix, he loosens up and tends to dress more like Felix. When he's taking control of the family and creating division, he's once again in a suit. We also see that he's an outcast, a nerd, and is seen and viewed as boring by his schoolmates, to the point that he ends up not getting invited to the Christmas party. Eventually, he ends up helping Felix with his bike. This is where the story really kicks off. But we later find out that this is all his plan, an elaborate plan to get closer to Felix. It's a plan so elaborate that even in the pub he ends up making Felix pay for the drinks so that he can get a chance to get into his life. This is how it plays out. We see Oliver head back to the campus and go to the pub, and he's noticed by Felix, who invites him over for a drink. And they go on a drinking spree, and then Oliver ends up being unable to pay for the rounds of drinks. And kind, loving old Felix over here helps him out and plays it cool. Then we see a montage of Oliver and Felix getting closer with one another. A scene that really stood out for me was where Oliver said, "I don't smoke," while literally 2 seconds later he's seen smoking. And 16 minutes before that, he's seen smoking again while starting off the movie. At first it seems like he's changed by Felix, which is likely a possibility, but it's also a possibility that he was this way before he did meet Felix. At some point, we get to a point where Felix is talking to a girl about having Oliver come, and she voices out her thoughts on him, all while Oliver is right behind them hearing everything. This then leads out to the first creepy scenes of the movie. Seeing the red color pop out of the screen while Oliver holds out his cigarette is absolutely amazing. The close-up of his face then shows a menacing look, slow blinking, almost like he feels no shame in what he's doing. This is also where we get to see the use of windows. Oliver looking through the window is him looking into Felix's private life. Jumping ahead, we see Oliver end up hooking up with Felix's girl, and it's clear all she wants to do is just make Felix feel jealous. And when she sees it's no longer possible, she leaves. I love the use of alcohol here. She's trying to use the bottle as a way to forget what she's getting herself into, because she isn't particularly proud of the moment. And if she fails, she can always blame it on the liquor. This could be something that he didn't necessarily plan out, but it enabled him to be able to tell Felix about his father, who had passed, in air quotes, and guilt trip Felix into inviting him to SaltBurn. We then see the caring nature of Felix. Nothing shows the caring more of Felix more than the stone scene. The whole film deals with death, mostly with stones. When a stone meets a body of water, it signifies a death of a character. And wouldn't you know that Oliver's stone misses the body of water, meaning his dad's stone never actually sinks. So, he never actually died. This was amazing foreshadowing from the writers, I can't lie. The music and pace of the scene was also really captivating, and the drop in the music to the talking scene and switch to SaltBurn was exquisite. Listen to this.
And you know what? If you get sick of us, you can leave.
Sure, we see it from the perspective of Oliver with a wide lens. We then get to see the slightly dysfunctional nature of Felix's family and how they act, how they seem to care for the less fortunate, and makes Oliver feel better until he hears that he's like more than the last year's one. Some people pointed out that this could have been the turning point, but it's clear that he had a plan of getting SaltBurn from the beginning. The next morning after Oliver's party, we are met with the fact that Felix is missing and is later found dead in the maze where Oliver left him. He was left drinking the poison that Oliver had left for him. The family is clearly traumatized by this, mostly when they hear the coroner's table move and squeak. I think this scene really signifies how differently people can deal with trauma. Others sit in silence, others try to numb themselves, and others try to speak to each other about this. Everyone feels wrong about it except Oliver, and Farleigh tries to point it out, but goes on deaf ears. We then see a stone scene play out for Felix, this time with the stone actually going into the body of water, signifying the actual death of Felix. And this time we actually see Oliver cry about him on the grave scene, and a really odd scene starts to play out, where he takes off his shirt and lays there in tears. If you had your parents around in the scene, I am truly so sorry for you. Oliver loved Felix and didn't really want to kill him. And when the outcome came, he finally felt it, and then it all came together, resulting in him making love with the soil on Felix's grave. He probably never wanted to kill Felix, but Felix ended up finding out about his lie, and that ended up resulting in his death. She figured out that he wanted Felix, and she pays for being able to piece it together. When she gets too close, he made sure that he could take her out and make sure that nobody knew about his real life. That's why he got rid of Felix too. He was going to get him kicked out of SaltBurn. Anyway, eventually he is kicked out, but eventually he does get ownership of SaltBurn by the end, and we find out that all the accidents were all planned. He made sure they all happened the way they did. He never really loved them. He hated them all, and they all fell for it mindlessly. Overall, the movie had quite some insane scenes, like the bathtub scene and the graveyard scene, but overall I'd say the movie is a 10 out of 10. The hidden Easter eggs are beautiful. You have to watch it.